Hey, welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. This is my favorite part of the show when we mix it up. The only show on television, we bring on a Democrat and a Republican every single day. I throw out the topics, they mix it up. At the end, we got one rule. Thoughtful conversation is had, we shake hands and we part friends. Today we got a dynamic duo indeed for this Thirsty Thursday. Johnny McDonagh joins us. John is a cab driver. He's a comic. He's an activist. He's an Army veteran. He's a radio talk show host on WBAI right here in New York. And of course, you all know him. Jadan Horyn is here. He's a conservative commentator, also a contributor to Metropolitan Magazine. They invited us to a wonderful party last night, Metropolitan Magazine did. We were at the New York Athletic Club to celebrate Andrea Katsimatidis, the new Republican chair in New York City, her being on the cover of your magazine. Great party. Thanks for having us, Jaden.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Johnny, thanks for joining us.
Listen, I always bring gifts. Last time I brought Guinness. This is a Nancy Pelosi pen. We're number one.
Okay, I love it.
Could you ever imagine Franklin Delano Roosevelt on December 7th, 1941? Here you go, Frank. You got one. Declaring war on Japan and then handing out pens to everyone in Congress and the Senate?
Never seen anything like it.
No, this is crazy. So these are on sale now. Nancy Pelosi pens.
These are Pelosi pens.
Yeah.
And you know what, Johnny? She was saying it's a solemn event. It's a terrible time for our country. But meantime, she had these customized gold pens made. And what was she doing? She was signing like one letter of her name with each
something
one?
like that. But the thing is about this, I'm finally in the majority with the impeachment. I'm not watching it, and I know probably nothing about it. And I got the newspapers on the way in, right? Here's the New York Post. It's the other Queens guy they're writing about. The Daily News. This is the front page. The other Queens guy. This is Newsday. You have to go into page 6 or near the obituaries to find the story in the newspapers or near the sports section. Nobody is watching it. Nobody's even reading about it. And the newspapers, the working class newspapers out in Queens, they're not covering it. They're covering Weinstein.
Well, Jaden, I'm sure we share some of the same sentiments on this one. What are your thoughts on what's happening with this whole impeachment thing?
I couldn't agree with John more.
Check, please.
I'm pretty sure Nancy Pelosi spent all of the 30 days of delay getting those gold pens made. That was the delay. The delay was so they could get the swag. Nancy Pelosi swag, that's why there was a delay. Right, but the papers don't care because this is relegated to page 6 because it's gossip, it's nonsense, and it's relegated to the obituaries because that's where impeachment is going. The president is not getting voted out of office. The Senate is not going to convict. So this is all a rating bonanza, or at least they thought it was going to be for the TV networks, but it's not. Americans are snoozing this out.
All
period.
Right, so let me ask you this. Some breaking news today. You've been on the show before, and we talked about how you were the guy who drove Randy Credico to the airport.
No, Penn Station.
To Penn Station when he was going to testify or give his,
the government only paid for the train.
They only pay for the train. Yeah. So you are close to the key witness in the Roger Stone case and the Mueller probe, Randy Credico. Apparently, he's come out today, and despite being allegedly Roger Stone threatening his life, he's come out in support of no jail time for Roger Stone.
Yeah, I spoke to Randy this morning, and he was telling me, Randy is so far to the left, he doesn't want anybody going to jail. Even it's a guy he testified that he could possibly put in jail. So he says he's still traumatized by his father. His father was a convicted bank robber in Ohio, and he did 10 years in jail, and it affected his family. So Randy finds it very difficult to put anybody in jail. He worked on the Rockefeller drug laws with Grandpa Al Lewis, and he got them overturned somewhat here in the state of New York. So Randy definitely does not want to see Roger Stone go to jail.
He doesn't want to see him go to jail, but he testified against him and ratted him out to the government to put him in jail.
But listen, here's how it's going to end up, right? He's going to be pardoned, Roger Stone, and him and Randy are going to go on a college tour like Timothy Leary or the guys from Watergate, and they're going to make money and they'll write a book and they'll probably do a play.
Jaden, isn't Roger Stone one of these crazy cases where he's basically alleged, he's been convicted now for what's a process crime, and he's like one of the only people that's really going to wind up potentially in jail for nothing?
Well, I think this is kind of a testament to this entire saga, which is the attempt to get people that are close to the president, as if we are able to get them, then we're able to implicate the president. And whether he did something illegal or not, in terms of what was actually done, should be a fine, as opposed to jail time and throwing maximum terms, which is all it is to send a message. That's what it's about. It's to send a political message from prosecutors and Democrats, and it's really unfortunate.
Okay. I don't know what that photo is right there. It looks like it's a sketch from the
as long as you're not in
impeachment
it,
hearing.
it's all right.
Yeah, right.
You don't want to be.
I think you brought a photo along with you for us, right?
Well, Randy this morning sent me a picture of his father's photo. No, we didn't get that, but it was just he has been traumatized by his father going to jail, and he doesn't want Roger Stone. He sent the letter to the defense attorneys and to the judge asking that Roger Stone not be sent to jail. But I don't think he's going to have to worry about that because the president will be pardoning him. I think he's being sentenced on February 20th.
Let's hope.
Well,
you know what I mean? We don't. I mean, I'll be hoping. I'm going to be heading down to Florida this weekend, and I'm hoping to see Roger in person. And don't forget, the Stone Defense Fund is still out there. Roger's got a load of legal bills. He's been stripped of almost every asset in his life, and he's still facing an appeal and possible 7 years in jail. And I, for one, think Roger looks great in pinstripes, but I like the pinstripes that run vertical, and I don't want to see him in the pinstripes that run horizontal. Being I know we do have the sketch from the Weinstein courtroom right around the corner, Jadan. Opening arguments began yesterday in the Harvey Weinstein trial. We had esteemed and famed criminal defense attorney Jeffrey Lichtman here a little earlier. He thinks the case is weak. What are your thoughts on what's happening there?
I think the testimony, at least from the women who say they were allegedly raped, is compelling. I certainly think that he is being tried in the court of public opinion, so it is really immaterial here whether they believe the case is weak or not. Most people believe that Harvey Weinstein is guilty, and unfortunately, the jury pool, at least in my mind, would be made up of those kind of people. They may have said that they're going to be objectively looking at it, but I find it very hard that in a case of this high profile and this magnitude, that people haven't come to a conclusion or heard something that would sway them.
So let's shift gears a little bit. I think it's just, fear, fright, and hysteria. The big news is the coronavirus is broken out. It's an epidemic. 6 people have died from it. 17 now. The updated number is 17. We have new numbers. I'm thinking, why do such a thing to a wonderful brand like Corona beer and name a virus after it? I mean, last time you brought us Guinness, but I don't mind in the summer a nice cold Corona, Johnny.
Yeah, but listen, you got to love the Chinese government. What other government in the world can lock down a city of 11 million people, shut down all the flights, all the trains, and say no one is getting out of that city? I mean, it takes a totalitarian communist government to do that. Remember when we had the Ebola virus here?
Yep.
We couldn't grab anybody at the airport. They were just saying, let everybody in. We had that doctor, what was he, bowling in Williamsburg and stuff like that. The Chinese, they seem to know how to do. That's what you get when you get a nice, authoritative communist government.
A nice one.
A
Nice one.
Wow.
Final subject. Hillary popped out of the crypt again the last few days. She said Bernie's completely unlikable, et cetera, et cetera. She said some odd things about Tulsi Gabbard a couple months ago. Tulsi Gabbard fired back, is now suing Hillary. When will she go away? When will it be ding dong, the witch is dead, like in Wizard of Oz?
I'm just really confused. I don't know how Hillary Clinton came to the conclusion that it's Bernie Sanders that's unlikable. I don't. Maybe her mirror broke.
She doesn't have the old mirror on the wall.
Because I think she didn't win. A lot of people didn't like her.
Jill Stein should be suing also. She was now another Russian asset.
Yeah.
And another something else that's going on with the
It's always the Russians.
It'll be the Ukrainians soon. But the thing is, now Bernie Sanders is forced to fly on a private jet to campaign out.
Poor Bernie.
But from what I heard from his campaign, he's going to fly to Australia first, drop water there on the bushfires, and then go. This will justify him using.
Well, speaking of Russia,
plane.
That's very green.
Speaking of
Yes,
Russians,
it is.
like many of the senators in the impeachment hearing, I'm having my